I will say I've never done this, so I don't necessarily know where to look for
No,
that.
okay. What it will do is it'll be something that will pop up and it'll say, click on admit.
Okay.
Do I need to get somebody else?
Nah, it's a trial and error. Let's do this.
There you go. So, okay. So this is Docusign. And let me go into the dashboard here in Docusign. Ideally, you want to create your Docusign room like you do .loop as far as like, ideally you want to create it in command first. And where you create it in command is through opportunities. And through the opportunities, you will, to see how you're connected up to it, up here on the right where you see your name, pull down and click down here where it says settings. And here I have Docusign up, and you can see here that I am connected. If you're not connected to Docusign, there will be a, right here instead it says disconnect account, it'll say connect account. And this is what it will look like right here, like where my Twitter is not connected. You just click on connect account. You go through the steps. If you are not associated with, or if you have not logged into Docusign before, you can sign up and that should, and use whatever email that is associated with KW. Mine is my Gmail account, but I do have a KW account also, or a KW email, but my Gmail account is associated with Keller Williams. So that's what I did to sign up for Docusign. But in Docusign or in .loop, you have loops. In Docusign, they're called rooms. And Docusign created rooms for real estate agents to kind of go along with .loop. Just as a quick little background, Keller Williams used to have a deal or an agreement with .loop that we will use them exclusively. They're going to help pay for our .loop. .loop has agreed and signed an agreement saying that they will not share any confidential information. About a year and a half ago to 2 years ago, Zillow bought out .loop. And when our agreement with .loop came to fruition, .loop said that they will not sign the same agreement. Now they will sign a new agreement saying that they will not share any confidential information to any third party, but they are now, Zillow is a parent, not a third party, and they openly say that they will share information with Zillow. So anything that we put into .loop is fair game to Zillow. And you may think, well, what does that matter to me? They will know like which properties, like they'll have our contracts that we have on these properties. They will have all the agreements. They will have our clients' names in their emails, and if you put in their phone numbers, I mean, they'll have whatever information that you put in there. They see when everything's going to be closing, or they'll see like how much people are paying for it. And I will tell you, as far as I know, it's not happened to my clients, but I have heard other agents throughout the United States saying that Zillow has contacted their agents or their customers, either their buyers or their sellers. So they're getting very aggressive with how they're doing things. So Keller Williams, or Gary Keller, has an agreement now with Docusign. And with Docusign, they are paying for it. So, and they're not paying for our .loop anymore. Here, LBAR they pay for our .loop, but they are actually looking at making that transition also. I don't know if they're going with Docusign. They're looking at other avenues, but chances are it may be Docusign that they're going to go with. And if that's the case, it may make it easier on everybody to switch over to Docusign. I see Docusign and .loop as an Android versus an iPhone. They both do pretty much the same functions. You can call, you can text, you can email, you can take pictures. It's just different ways and different looks on how you do it. I see like one is more customizable than the other to me. an Android is more customizable than an iPhone. To me, Docusign is more like an Android. So with Dotloop, here, let me pull up Dotloop. You can see that you have your documents, you have your lists, and there's not a lot of fluff in here, and you can do a lot in Docusign. Do I have a question, chat? Who pays for Docusign, and is there a charge? There is no charge. Keller Williams pays for our Docusign. So now this is what, these are the rooms that I have. A lot of these are tests that I've played around with, but I have created a room just for today's class.
Hey, will you let us know how, you said go to your command first and go to opportunities, and then how to get to DocuSign from there?
Let me go do that real quick. So in opportunities, that, and some of these, I have several dummy in my personal one. So I don't know if any of these are connected to Dotloop or Docusign, because once you connect up to one, you can't connect up to the other. So I have here that says go to transaction. Let me create a new opportunity real quick, just so that you can see from the start. Say, and put a listing here. So under documents, you can see here it says start a transaction over here on the right. So to start a transaction, you click here. This little arrow right here shows that I am connected to both Docusign and Dotloop. If you're only connected to one, when you click on start a transaction, it will automatically go to whichever one that you are connected to. But here I'm just going to go ahead and click on this. And as you see, the opportunity that I named was 500 South Broadway. That's what name my room is. That's the same thing as in Dotloop, that whatever you name the opportunity, that's what your room or your loop is going to be named. But when you first go into a Docusign room, you click here where it says details. And the information that you put on this details page will transform into your documents for autofill. So you would click up here that says edit. And I have this on as the listing side, but you can put in here, if you know the MLS ID, the main things that you would put in here is the address. So even though that this is the property, the name of the room, you still need, whatever you put in here will be what will go on to the documents. So let me go ahead and put on here South Broadway, Richmond, County, Madison. See, Kentucky, 40475. I never input this other information here. And here for the listing details, I can put in here, and I can put that information in there. But the offer details, once I receive an offer, I can put it in here. I'm going to go ahead and put it in here, like pretending if this is a buyer's, because I'm going to bring in the offer to purchase also, so that you can see, even though this is a listing thing, this will, you can use these documents also. You would not put this information in for the list, or because you will receive an offer if you have the listing, but I'm going to pretend that this is a buyer site also. So I'm going to put in here like the contract price will be like $250,000. The offer date would be today. Earnest money would be $1,000. And who's going to hold the earnest money? And then the rest of this stuff, you really, I don't know any of our documents that has this, but you can put more information in here as that you want to put in here. Like I said, the only stuff that I put in here is when I have the buyer put in this offer details, and then you would put in the location of this information. Now, the most important stuff here is on the right. Here I have the seller in here. I have the email that I have is in the contact, it will transport over here. Whatever, and you put like seller 2, I'm going to go ahead and put in, it'll have your information in there. I'm going to go ahead and put as a buyer, I'm going to put in Donald in here. I'm going to do this just so that my email in here, just so that you all can see how this is done also. So I'm going to click on save once you're done at the bottom right. And you can go back and you can change it any time by clicking here on this edit button. But the way that you gather the documents is here in the top right, you see where it says add, and it has a plus sign. You click on add, and then you have different ways to add documents. You can add it on the computer. So if you want to manually upload a document, so like via the buyer side, and you want to put in the seller disclosure or the residential property disclosure is what the Ohio agents have. You can download it from the MLS, and then you would upload it in here, add initials and signatures on there. The Docusign forms are like the templates that we have in .loop. And then if you have documents in any of these other locations, but the majority, you're going to use these two. And I would say you're going to use this one that says Docusign Forms more than you do the computer. So you click on Docusign Forms. And up here at the top, you can see the first, let me go back. The first time you come into this, there will be a notification to say, like, to put in your NERDS number and to validate your NERDS number. It doesn't show in either one of the offices at this time. You'll see over here, there will be a link that says continue without verification or validation or something like that. Click on that, and then you'll get to this, and you'll only receive that one time. But here, when you click on this where it says Docusign Forms, or you can click on library or group, the library will have everyone from the MLS. The group are like the groups of documents that are set together. For example, for this group, when you click on group, you can click here, and in our office, we have the buyer packet and the listing packet. Up in the Columbus office, there are about 7 or 8 different ones, because they break it down even further. They have the buyer consultation, they have the buyer under contract, they have the seller listing documents, they have the seller other documents and stuff. But we just have just the buyer packet and the listing packet. And those are equal to, if you go to here to add a document and you click on templates, it's like these kind of folders is your groups. We did at this point, we only, where is it? At this point, we just have just the buyer packet and the listing packet. So let me go on to the buyer packet, and you can see these are the documents that the office has. And I'm going to go through here just to make sure maybe we need to add some more. But you can click here to see which documents that you want to add in there. So the agent's disclosure, we need to add the consumer guide into here. So what we can do is here, go ahead and click on add. But I know that the consumer guide is under the library. So I'll click here, that goes to Docusign Forms. Leave it at library. I want to click on the L-bar forms here. And I can, and you can see there's already a check mark for the ones that I've already added so that you don't have to add it again. But let me find the consumer guide. There you go, consumer guide to agency relationships. I'm gonna add it onto the other. But however that you do it, that you can add it in there. Does anybody have any questions so far? I'd like interaction because the more questions that you have, the more I can help you with. But here, these are the three.
So Jen,
yes, ma'am.
Can you make your own, like in Dotloop, I made my own little
right
buyer's loop.
I asked that, and I'm researching. When I looked in something that was like, I saw a video that was like 8 months old that said that you can't, the office can't. Now you can do it templates, create your own templates and do it that way, but they don't, I think it's something that they're working on, but I will research and I'll let you know for sure. Because that's one thing that I just even asked that this morning, to be honest with you. So I am researching that. Okay, so once you have your documents here, you click on them, like I'm clicking on the offer to purchase, to fill in the information of the offer. So you can see up here has the information that I have inputted so far. And in fact, I need to let them know that it is mapping incorrectly, because right now it has this as under the cash instead of putting it up here. So, but we can still put this up here in this section, and you fill out your, like you normally do. Put here, you want to put in there as, you know, put the refrigerator, range, dishwasher, etc., etc., etc. You have the earnest money. This needs to go in there. But as you just go on, however that you're going to put it in. Right now, we don't add the signatures or the initials. You add that in under the envelopes, but you just fill in wherever that you need to fill in. There are toggle buttons. So like for here, you can click on, these are toggles so that only one can be selected at a time. See how, see, they didn't make these are not toggle buttons. You see, these are squares instead of the round. So these are called radio buttons. These are checks so that you can click on any and all that you need to do. So, but with the round ones, you can see I had that first one checked. Again, you just go through, you fill out all the information, and then once you're done, I mean, you can go down here and fill out your information regarding at the bottom of the contract. Then once you're done, you want to click on Save and Close. And I go to the next one and fill out whatever that needs to be filled out on these others. Once I'm ready to get them to sign, you can look here, like when you hover over each of these pages, a little circle comes up at the top left-hand corner. And so let's just say I want to send all these documents to have my buyers sign these. So I will click on each of them. And once I click on one of them, these little icons come up. And then to sign it, you see where there's this pin is, it says create envelope, and look at it as an envelope, as like you're putting a document in an envelope and sending it out for a signature. So so once you, but you can also, if you want to copy, if you need to move, you can just directly email these documents. I can combine these documents into one document. I can separate in another way. I can separate by right-clicking here, and I can split the documents here. And I will tell you, this split document is so much better than Dotloop's splitting, because in Dotloop, you have to write down like page 1 to 3 is this, page 4 and 5 is this, page 6 and 7. Here you can actually see. Let me show you. Click on let me just do this one. Just to do a split, you can actually see the pages, and give it a second, it will show up so that you can see what these documents are. So let's just say that these first 3 are the offer. I can put in here offer, and I can put here 1 through 3, or I can just click on these pages and then add a new document and say like these other 2 are the addendum, which we know that they're all just the contract. But, and then once you're done, you click here that says save. So these are the 2 documents that I just split, or came from the split, but also here's the original document too. So you don't lose the original document. You still have it all intact. So if I just want to take out just maybe 1 page of that, I can just take out that 1 page, make it its own individual page, but I still have all of it together. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? I just see you, Michelle, so I'm see you shaking your head.
Well, my question would be, why would you split it? But I assume where I have the app called Genius Scan, like if I scan multiple documents and it all goes in one thing, then I could separate it there.
Correct. Yeah, and if somebody, okay, and also in a way in Dotloop, so as a good example, in Dotloop, let's just say that somebody sends you a contract in Dotloop, okay? And so what you can do here, you can just click on all of them, and then you can say download, and when it downloads into one document that says multiple documents. And so I can go back into Docusign, go to add from my computer, or scratch, not even that. If it has down here at the bottom, if it goes, like you can click on the bottom, you can drag it up here and it'll automatically add. So you can add it manually, or you can add it like this.
Would a good use for this be like finding an inspections report and separating it?
Yes, if you want, yes, you can upload an inspection report. And if you want to just do 1 page that has information to send, perfect question. But again, come on. Or is that multiple? Good question. You must have a good teacher.
I might have had that problem in the past.
I just had that problem. I had to get the inspector because I couldn't change his format, and he had to send me just a certain part so I could forward it on so I could see what he was talking about.
Right.
So that would be very helpful.
Yes. So here are the multiple documents. So I can do a right click on split. That I took it from Dotloop into Docusign. I can see here, this is the business. Like if you hover over it, you can see how it's larger so that you can see, oh, what is that? What is that? What is this? So I can start, and let's just say all I want are these 2 documents right here, which is the exclusive right to sell. So I can do here, exclusive right to sell. Then just click on these 2 and then click save. So this is the one I just took out, but I still have all of these documents if I need it. And the same with combined. Let's say I want to combine these 2 back. I can click on these 2 and click on right here that says combine. And in here, the offer one is first. So you can move it however that whatever order that you have here is the order that it will combine. So I can come here and say new offer or complete offer. Click on save. And again, those two that I combined, I still have them separated here. I have the complete offer with the combined and all. So here are all of my documents. I can look at them like sheets, which is if it's easier to find something like that, or I can go over here and click on this icon under where it says actions if you rather have it in this kind of view. Whichever works best for you. If you have a lot of documents, this may be an easier way to see it. But if you like to visually see, like, oh, there's the listing agreement right there, instead of reading it, you can create file folders. So click up here that says action. And if I want to add a folder, so I can add a folder that says listing documents and then click create. So here's my listing documents. I can move this up here. To have it all separated and however that you want to do it. So, okay, back to signing. The way that we have it signed here, I'll just go to this original one, but I want to have this document and I'll have the consumer guide. Let me do both of those. First, let me do one more thing. I'm going to add a second buyer. Donald Duck, let's have Daisy sign it also. Use the same email. Save. So back to documents. I want to, like I said, I want to do the offer and the consumer guide. And again, this pin says create envelope. So I'll click on that. Now up at the top is the envelope of what you want. You want to put in here what is in this envelope, because you're going to have multiple envelopes. Like if you have the buyer, your first one may be like your offer documents. And then the next one may be like counter offer. Another one you can do it without changing here that says please DocuSign, but I would add in there what it is, because you're going to see multiple envelopes, and if you have to go back to it, that way you can see what documents are in there. This is the order that is going to be sent. So if you'd rather have like one before the other, you can just drag and drop however that you want it to go in there, how you want it to be seen. So once you do that, if you need to make any changes, you can click here that says save and close and go back to the original document to make a change. And then just come, so let's just say I'm going to save and close. And so you can see here it says draft. I can go back to the documents. And let's just say I want to put in there in the offer to purchase that let's say we're doing 200,000 or 225 instead of 250. So let me go ahead and just change this to 225. Then save and close. Go back to my envelopes. I can go back to this draft. Just click on it. And then when I open it again in a minute, it's going to have the 225 instead of the 250. But once you get all the documents in here, I can add, let's just say, oh, I should have put the agency disclosure in there. So I can go ahead and click here to add a new document. So it says room docs. I can add in there the agency disclosure too. So I can add anything else I want in there. But once you do that, next you want to add the recipients. You want to add to see who's going to be signing. So you click on here that says pre-tagged roles, because each of these documents have tagged roles in there, so that you can see here, these are all the people that are select to sign. You don't have all these, but I want to do buyer 1 and buyer 2 only. So I want to click on, let's say, who do I want to have be buyer 1? That's Donald, and I want buyer 2 to be Daisy. There's Daisy. And then click on add selected. You can see here it says both of them needs to sign. So like when you send something from Dotloop, when you send something, you know, on the right side. So let's say if I want to share over here, I don't have the people in here, but you have view only, can sign, can fill and sign, or can edit in private. That's where you do under the Docusign. You can choose here what you want them to do. So fill and sign is the same as needs to sign. So if there's any places where I want them to sign or fill out any information, you keep it under needs to sign. Here you see where there's the number 1. If I want Donald to receive this and then Daisy, I would change this to a 2, so that once Donald is done with it, it'll immediately go to Daisy. So Daisy won't receive it until after Donald sees it. But it's what I have going now. It doesn't matter. So they both can see it at the same time. The only time where I see that it's beneficial to have one versus the other is if one needs to fill something out, like the seller disclosure or the RPD, that you'd want one to fill it out, and then after they fill it out, the other will come in and sign it. Okay. And so if you need to add any other recipients, here I can choose like an email address if I want to add somebody else in there. Scrolling down, this is the information, like this is the email that they will be receiving once you send it. So here are the documents. Let me know if you have any questions. So all of this is ready, and prepared. So I click on next. And here, this is where you'll see the signatures pages, where they sign and where they initial. Have I lost anybody yet? Maybe a little bit. It's just different in how it's done. So here you can see, over here on the right, you can see these. I did not fill in. I just went in and just added it. I didn't go in and add this information. I can go in now and add this, like, oh, I forgot this. I can go back to the original document and fill it in, or I can do it now. We're down here where it says text. I can click on text. I can put here the information, the real estate brokerage. I can put in here, type here. I can add the text over to the right, or I can start typing over here, but it's KW Legacy Group. Principal broker is Yvette Kelly. And just continue on as you would. The signature line is down here. So they need to add the signatures in here, which I'm going to make sure that they do now. But you click on it, and this is what the signature looks like. And then the date signed right here. It's one difference from .loop to DocuSign is .loop, it automatically has the date and stamp at the end of the signature. Here you add it, and it will automatically appear when you open this up, when they go in to sign it. So right up here, you can see I'm doing all this for Donald right now. So these are where Donald's going to be signing. When you click up here, you see that Daisy's in blue. So when I click on Daisy, I can put her signature right here and her date sign over here. So you can see over here on the right where their signatures, and what Daisy's going to see, she's going to see yellow also. So this is just for our visual to show, like, Donald's in yellow, Daisy's in blue. These are their signatures. Now the signatures are going to go all the way across here. It's not, it doesn't just stay in here in this middle. It does go across. It's just showing like the location. And the same here, you can fill out that information, have them sign. I don't know what this text box is, but you can highlight anything and delete it. But you can see here, I went in and changed, this says 225. And if I realize, oh shoot, I didn't put the date in here, I can go in here and put it under Donald's if I want. I can do a text box and add in a date here. Put in 3/18/21. Now there's a difference between a solid, let me go down here. When I click on here, you can see that this is solid. That means this is a required field. So and see when I click off, you can see there's still yellow because that's still, because I did it under Donald's. But here you can see that it's not a required field. I mean, because, and I just want him to read only. I don't want him to be able to change it. So like I said, there's a whole lot more customization that you can do in here. You can see like, okay, this is not an FHA loan, so I can highlight these and I can delete them. Kind of go through and you can see all this information. You can there's their information. I can put in my information. I'm not going to do it this time, but I can add in the text boxes and all the stuff for my information. And once I am done, I am going to click on send. So I'm going to go ahead and send it just so that you all can see what they receive and what it looks like from here. So you can see here under my envelope, it says waiting for others. So let me go to my email because I'm going to sign for Daisy and Donald. So that's under this one. So I've got two, one for Daisy, one for Donald. Oh, that's funny. Instead of Obamacare, there's Biden Care now. So anyway, so this is who am I? I'm under one of them. I don't know if I'm under Daisy or Donald, but I'll click on review documents. And so I'll click on here, I agree, continue. And so I will click on start. And so it will go down to the next. Oh, I had these as solid. So let me. Okay, fill in signature. And so it's going to ask, how do you want your, they can change how they want their signatures to look. Like here are different ways that they can sign. But I'm just going to leave it at that and click on adopt and sign. So click, and so this is what they're going to be doing is just click all the way through. Now they can go back and read it and all, but you can see here, here's the date stamp, or the date and time stamp is in there. So once they're done, they can finish. And then I don't want to log in, so I'll say no thanks. So they're going to receive a copy. Now in here, let me refresh this. I wonder if it's going to say one has signed or I'm waiting on for one other. It may just still say waiting on others. Yeah, it just says waiting for others. Okay, so let me go and finish my other. So that was one, and now this is Daisy's. So, yep. Start, sign. So let me change Daisy's just to see what. Let's do this one. So adopt and sign. Sign, sign, initial. So finish. No, thank you. So in here, you will receive an email saying they have signed. There should be, hold on. This is supposed to turn green to show that these have already signed. There you go. So you can see it's now completed. Now, when I go back to my documents, you can see here, these are my signed documents. But I also have these documents here that are unsigned. Like here's the agency, here's the consumer guide, here's this is the offer that I used. So if I need to go back and change anything, I can go back to this form, make whatever changes, and send it out for signatures again. Instead of, it's not going to erase because there's no initials or signatures on here. So if I need to change and we've renegotiated, and I'll say, we'll go back and say like, okay, they agreed to 2:30. Save and close, send it out for signatures, do another envelope and send it out for signatures. So I'll just go here, envelope, and then kind of do the process again. Did I see a question? Okay. Here under history is where you can see what all that has been done. So you can see here when they signed it. Another thing that you have under here, under the documents, once everybody signs, you'll get this document right here, certifying the signatures. So the date stamp doesn't necessarily have to be on there because here's the certification. Because when you click on it, you can see here what has been signed and who signed it and all that. So that, in a nutshell, is, let's see, there is a chat. Chris, you told me wrong. Oh, Amanda had to stop off. So.
I did not tell you wrong. There was no question.
Gotcha. Heather, do you have any questions? Jennifer, David, Meg, Beef?
I don't have
Again, thanks. This is a good review again. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And
for
this is
sure.
just an overview, just to so, I mean, we can go like deeper, like in a true DocuSign class. But if you were looking to see how do you do it, that is, I mean, it's like there's so much more that's customizable for the Ohio group. Their stuff is more, has been worked on more, so all of the fields are better aligned and stuff. But I will tell you that I can send whatever that needs to be changed here, and they usually get back with me within 24 hours. So it's not, I mean, I'm going to tell them like some of these fields are not mapped correctly or have not mapped at all, and they'll just go in and map it. So that's not a biggie. So, but we're like in the early stages down here as far as DocuSign. But I know that my team, Chris, are you planning on switching over too? Yeah, my team is switching over to DocuSign. And there's ways that you can create your own templates. You can like customize them. The only thing about that is that the it doesn't auto-populate in from the details, but you can just type it in. But you can go ahead, but some of the stuff that you put in there all the time, and there are other ways in other classes that just now coming out that there'll be other forms. So like in the consumer guide, if you're going to say like put the same thing every time, you can choose that form. You can put in the information. So we can put in KW Legacy Group, Yvette Kelly, whatever. And so you select that form and it'll still auto-populate the stuff in there. That's a new feature that I have not dove deep into yet, because it's like brand new, like within this last week or so. So I mean, they're doing stuff all the time, and they're trying. They hear the agents speak up to say like, because there's a lot that don't want to use .loop because of the relationship with Zillow, but they're comfortable with what they know, and so what I suggest is before you get into that rush of, oh crap, I need to write an offer. It's so easy just to go back to what you know, to go ahead and do a dummy one. You put yourself in there and have it sent to you or send to somebody, a friend, a family member, or something, just so that you can see and play around with it. So by the time you use it, you feel more comfortable with doing it. But Meg, I mean, you have not written an offer yet, so
Yeah, it's all just kind of like take
it's
it
all
all.
new to you, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you might as well start from the ground floor of DocuSign. To me, the biggest hurdle, because I did a transaction straight through DocuSign. I mean, every agent in LBAR uses .loop. And so the biggest obstacle is like, you have to move those documents into DocuSign. But all you have to do is just click them, download, upload them into multiple, and you can do a split, and then there they are. And all of your information is safe from Zillow. So, well, we got about 4 more minutes. Any other questions at all? Nope.